What's happening, my friends? I am doing a reactionary video because a new article by Project Veritas just came out that is entitled FBI Whistleblower Leaks Bureau's Domestic Terrorism Symbols Guide on Militia Violent Extremism. So basically, what this is the FBI has a working document that allows them to look at just different symbols to classify whether you are a dangerous extremist. And whereas I recognize there are real dangerous extremists, like folks that are Looney Tunes crazy that want to do terrible things against innocents, we don't like those folks, of course. And so I recognize, yeah, it is good to be able to catch really awful folks. But what is alarming is that this symbol guide and some of the signs that the FBI is queuing in on really makes guilty and puts in their crosshairs just normal law-abiding citizens who understand our nation's history and our Constitution. And it's pretty alarming. It's pretty damning because just looking down this list of stuff, which I'm going to show you, here you go. I mean, me and all my friends, we're all guilty of this, of like, we're all on the list, so to speak, in terms of we are perceived as threats. And I would say if a government was behaving well and understood the nature of the power is with the people, not with tyrants wanting to grab more and more authority and get more power and keep it forever, this guide, I could literally flip on its face and say, all right, here is the tyranny test. They're using it to test whether I'm a dangerous, dissenter. Well, I can use this test to basically see whether you are an overreaching, growing tyrannical threat. And so, anyway, so looking through this, I immediately see the term boogaloo, and that's from like an old movie, apparently, and people talk about it of like upcoming apocalypse kind of stuff, and it's kind of tongue-in-cheek whenever it's used, but apparently that's on their radar. The Punisher skull, that's problematic, even though it's a little nerdy, guys. Of Punisher skulls were all the rage, and then the cool guy dissenter camp in like 2005, 2010 maybe, if you got a late start. But Punisher skulls are out. No, I'm kidding. I see that on body armor of lots of law enforcement guys, some military guys rock it, civilians as well. Then the third symbol down is 2A. It says that militia violent extremists justify their existence with the Second Amendment due to the mention of a well-regulated militia as well as the right to bear arms. I would say that's a very good justification for existence of like the Second Amendment. I'm like, man, here's our Constitution, and number two, you're just reading it back to them. Here's a spoiler alert, FBI. If folks are just basically quoting our Constitution, which you swore an oath to defend, that looks really, really bad. Of like, I'm a Second Amendment advocate. I chose my shirt carefully on purpose. This is our Warrior Post Second Amendment shirt because I have the right to bear arms. And as much as some authoritarian tyrants would like to remove that right so that they can enslave future generations without recourse, you can't ever have my guns. It's protected by the Second Amendment. You may make no law that infringes my right to keep and bear arms. And I'm going to keep that. That's enshrined in the Constitution. Therefore, if you make any other smaller laws that contradict the Second Amendment, those are illegal laws. You can't do that. You're literally overreaching. You're not supposed to do that. So, anyway, the next one is electrical resistance symbol. I'm not privy to that one. Then there's the narco-capitalism sign. No comment. I'm just not very familiar with it. Warrior culture, military themes, both historical and contemporary. Spartans, Valhalla. I mean, like that's how all me and my homies are rolling. Molin Lobby comes from the Greek phrase "come and take it," which is reminiscent of our modern day. Hey, it's the Second Amendment stuff. You can't have our guns, right? That the best way to enslave a population is to disarm them. And therefore, our founders, recognizing that the natural course of government was to get more power and to ensure that that power is not challenged, they want to disarm the people. It's the story of every nation ever that wants to subdue its population. And so, yeah, never ever give up your guns, guys, especially to guys like this. Let's see, Black Flag, which is kind of like pirate, take no prisoners kind of stuff. Then it goes over as and references the Gadsden flag. This is a historical symbol that's basically, hey, don't step on snake, don't mess with us like a snake. Snake's not dangerous unless you mess with it. And if you mess with it, it's going to strike you. And that was basically a middle finger to our ruling elites across the sea in England, who wanted to mess with us, basically being like, hey, don't tick us off here. There are bad repercussions to that. Also, Revolutionary War image, militiamen. Then there's the Liberty Tree. Let's see. And the Betsy Ross flag, just an earlier version of the American flag. The problem with this, this is just historical symbolism. It's, hey, we have in our DNA a dissent against tyranny. And so if anybody is reaching to grab certain unalienable rights, we get to immediately say, hey, tyrants. Now, here's my message to FBI guys, because I know FBI guys are absolutely watching this. I've worked with you guys, real world missions, and also in training contexts. I've worked with some of you guys, and I know you're good dudes. Folks won't like that I'm saying any of that, because they're like, hey, screw all you guys, because, well, your history as of late is less than awesome. Of like, there's Epstein stuff, there's Hillary email stuff, there's oops, Hunter Biden laptop stuff. Where did that go? There's witch hunts against Trump collusion kind of things. So it's very obvious to the American people that that institution of power, the one that you work for, looks kind of compromised and hopelessly corrupt. Now, you door kickers, you lower level guys, you recognize that you can't help who was appointed above you. However, recognize that you swore an oath to defend the Constitution, and if your leadership contradicts the Constitution, you don't have to follow that, and you shouldn't. Good men don't follow bad orders. It's the cowardly Nuremberg excuse, right? Of, hey, we tortured Jews and we did crimes against humanity because our bosses told us to. Not to conflate Nazi Germany to what's happening now, but there certainly is there's a moral right to resist what you know to be the wrong thing to do. For my part, I love my country. I love my friends and family. I don't want to make a fight anywhere. I'm not some extremist, as somebody would like to paint me to be. I just want to live peaceably on my farm and right. And hey, don't step on snake, man. You can't have my guns, and I'm going to enjoy my freedoms as dictated in the Constitution. I'm not trying to overthrow anything, but I'm saying, hey, we have checks of power which you are trespassing on. Beware. Don't do that. Stop doing tyranny stuff. Your organization looks hopelessly corrupt all of the sudden. And so be aware of that. Anyway, that's enough for me. All you guys holding the line out there, you freedom-loving patriots, keep staying gloriously and courageously you. Train hard, train smart, stay free.